Hi, I'm Emiliano Caballero. I'm a Latin Grammy-nominated mix engineer based in Los Angeles, California. I'm one of the co-founders of the plugin company Leapwing Audio. In today's video, I'll show you how to mix high-end using Leapwing plugins. In this video, we're going to use one of the songs of my music project, Selmar. The song is called Let You Go. I co-produced, wrote, played most of the instruments, and mixed this song. In this case, we're going to focus in the high-frequency energy and how to manipulate that throughout the song. We're going to use this concept called upward expansion. If you want to know more about it, just Google it. There is a bunch of more information out there. The concept being basically that you have like a negative ratio that when the signal goes below a threshold, the amplitude actually goes up. In this case, I'll show you an example with our plugin called CenterOne. CenterOne is a multiband parallel processor that actually you can use as a normal regular downward compressor as well as an upward expander. In this case, we have a preset, if you go to the mastering presets, called More Excitement. There's something interesting to look at this. You see how the ratio in like the mid and low bands, it's basically larger or bigger than 1 to 1. In this case, notice how the ratio it's 0.95 to 1. Okay? That means when the ratio is smaller than 1 to 1, in this case, we have an upward expander. Let's bring the ratio all the way down to 0.8 to 1 and see how the amplitude of these bands behave. Let's solo, for example, these two bands and play it. If we decrease this threshold, the more upwards expansion we will get. This is very useful, especially in the high end, to give it more life, to give it more movement, and just overall to like give more life to the high end. There is a lot of use in this kind of techniques in EDM, electronic dance music. You can use this in stereo mode, you can use this in center sides, as we call it here, center size mode, which is basically kind of like what we did with CenterOne, where we divide the frequency spectrum or the stereo spectrum left, center, and right, and you can manipulate the energy of the high frequency both in the center and in the sides. In this case, we're going to work in left-right mode and just give it more life and more high frequency energy into the high band. Bear in mind that we're working in parallel mode. In parallel mode means that these two faders, which is like the high mid frequency band and the high frequency band, are added to the original sound. If you bring this down, you will still hear the original synth sound. And if we switch parallel mode off, we will not have any sound. So just to bear in mind, these two bands, actually we can unlink them. These two bands are added to the original sound. Let's play a bit with threshold, with attack times, and see how we can make this more alive. One trick that I like to do, especially in the high end, is to push more signal into the compressor. If we press shift and drag the input fader, see how the output fader compensates for the gain? That's a very useful thing when we, of course, we just reach the minimum or maximum threshold, in this case, of our dynamic processor, and we want even more of it. One way to do it is just like push more signal into the compressor. Let's check this out. You see that how the synthesizer already has more like bite and kind of like every time there is like a chord playing, it's just like more exciting. I'm gonna play it on and off so you have a like you can tell. immediately just gets a bit more excitement. Something else I like to do is to unclog or like make more space for the vocal in this case. You can tell there is a lot of frequencies that will be competing with the vocal. In this case, I'm gonna use a plugin called CenterOne. CenterOne, think of it as a stereo manipulator. In this case, we can do a few things. Center prominence will allow us to push the center phantom of the image just a bit further to like make space for the vocal. Let's play with this. That's a very good thing in order to like make space for the vocal. Of course, we are losing volume here. We're losing loudness. We are losing SPLs, but that's okay. The last thing I would like to do to this synth is make it a bit more stereo. We can use that with the stereo manipulator stage 1. There's a few nice things with this, which you can use the width in order to like make it wider, the depth to just have a bit of like a more room, more ambience behind it, and mono spread will spread everything that is basically in the phantom center, which in this case we're trying to like dissipate, so we're not gonna worry about this. Let's switch this off. Let's play with width first. In this case, with this high pass filter, we can adjust like the cutoff frequency when we want things to get wider. In this case, I'm gonna put it a bit higher. I like it there. I'm gonna put a bit more depth. Depth is basically intelligent algorithmic that it just creates early reflections and basically a bunch of other processes in order to like increase definitely the depth of the recording. Let's check this out. The color is just a tilt, so the depth or the reflections are more high end or more dark. Off. On. On, off. On. Definitely listen to it in headphones for a better listening experience, and definitely if you want to hear the stereo difference, you definitely use headphones. I'm gonna play this synthesizer on and off with all plugins. Again, if you want to switch all the plugins and bypass, just press Shift A. Off. Let's play now everything.
Couple drinks now, we're talking like we used to. Singing songs we don't even know the words to. We don't even know. How the hell did I let you? How the hell? Every memory's on your face. Pretty soon we can take it back to your place. Back to your place. How the hell did I let you? How the hell? How the hell? How the hell did I let you go? How the hell did I let you go?
Definitely, I don't know if you noticed, but when the processing is on, there's more room for the vocal to live in. Definitely that's something you have to be careful with. It's very easily to overdo it, especially with stereo manipulation. It's very easy if you first don't have experience or a good listening environment. It's very easy to like trick yourself in thinking that it's actually better. So keep an eye on that. Keep a check on yourself that you're actually not making things worse. Okay. Just to summarize, we're using upwards expansion for the high end in parallel, just in the high, mid frequency and high frequency with DAN1. Again, this is in parallel mode, so we are adding these two bands to the unprocessed original synth sound. Then we just take a bit of that phantom center. The good thing about this section in CenterOne that is does not affect to the panorama, does not shrink your stereo image when you push the center back. That's a very unique algorithmic that CenterOne provides. And again, this is not what's called mid-side. This is our own proprietary technology that we are very happy with it. I think it's amazing results. I will say play with the center band pass EQ, that it's basically selecting which frequencies goes to the center or the sides, something to check out. Same thing with center channel width. And then just to finish it up, we have a bit of width and a bit of depth to get that high end to be more like airy and even wider. Okay. Again, everything is taste. Everything is how you hear music. There's a bunch of tools that you can use. In this case, I'm focusing on our plugins. We proudly worked in these original designs. I'm thankful for all the users that have supported us through the years. We just hope to keep making great tools for you out there to make the best music you can make. Until next time, thanks again for everyone watching. Thanks for the team at Produce Like a Pro for bringing us on in the channel. If you have any questions, if you have any suggestions about the plugins, we always love to hear from you. Let us know in the comments of the video. You can reach us out in support in our website. And until next time, thank you very much. I'll see you soon.